Hey Darn Good Yarners, it's Nicole Snow. If you're like me, I love to finish off the day with a celebratory glass of wine. But as I've gotten older, I found that I don't recover the same way I used to. I was telling my friend about this, and she turned me on to Dry Farm Wines a couple months ago. They test all of their wines for three main components that can actually make wine unhealthy. I had no idea that high sugar, alcohol, and sulfur levels were making me feel like crap, and the commercially available wines I used to indulge on were actually pretty unhealthy. So Dry Farm Wines has been a total game changer for me. It's a great club where you can try different wines from all around the world, most of which I can't even pronounce, and they're tested for your health, which is even better. I joined forces with Dry Farm Wines, and if you sign up today, you can get a bottle for a penny when you join their half case or full case club. Just use the URL dryfarmwines.com/darngoodyarn. Okay, hey everyone, it's Nicole Snow. We're here over at Darn Good Yarn. I have Kay with me from A Cup of Crochet. Hello. So before we get started, if you guys can hear us, we're a little bit, sorry, we're like 2 minutes late today. If you can hear us, just give us a thumbs up or comment that you can hear us. That would be always appreciated, so we can make sure we're doing things right here. Before we get started here, episode 3 of Wind Down Wednesday, can you believe it? A little bit of housekeeping. So I'm going to let you guys know that Friday we're going to do a flash sale, a live event, a Facebook live event at was it 1 o'clock on Friday? Yeah. 1 p.m. on Friday. I have the peanut gallery here of Katie and Erica. So 1 p.m. on Friday Eastern, we're going to do a flash sale of some sari skirts. So if you've ever wanted a sari skirt and want to see exactly the one you're getting, this is your opportunity. We're going to have like maybe 5 or 10 skirts. It's not going to be a long event. And then we'll sell them off via Facebook that way. And then I also want to give a shout out to Dry Farm Wines, who is like that's my new favorite wine club ever. If you're interested in purchasing them, I set up a partnership with them. You can go to dryfarmwines.com/darngoodyarn, and your first like 6-pack or a case, you get an extra wine for a penny. And the thing I love about them is that they have tested all their wines to have lower alcohol, sulfites, and sugars, which as you get older like me, in the ripe old age of 36, you start getting these things called 2-day hangovers when you drink wine at night. So these have all been tested, so you can still enjoy your wine but not feel like crap the next day. So that's pretty cool. And then Kay has done some design work for us, and we're actually going to be doing a giveaway today for her kits, and it's not even on the site yet. We're going to be posting it on the site I think probably by Friday, and it's for Henry the Hippo. So Kay, if you just want to hold that up real quick and show everyone. And Kay, I think we're actually frozen right now, but that's okay. We're gonna pause this real quick and see if I can get Kay back, and I'll be right back.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you now. Great, awesome.
I don't know what.
No, I think we're all good. Yeah, if you guys can still hear us, if you can give us a like, we had just a little technical glitch there, no big deal. Okay, so yeah, welcome everyone to Wind Down Wednesday, episode number 3. I have Kay with me from A Cup of Crochet. Hey Kay.
Hey.
So first off, I have to ask you, where did your name come from?
Honestly, I didn't start out with A Cup of Crochet. When I first started my online business, I was gearing more towards making just dog toys because that's what I started making a mass amount of, was dog toys. So I started out as Kay's Crochet's Dog Toys.
Okay.
And as my abilities, progressed, and I started, connecting with all these amazing makers and seeing what they could do, I just started crocheting everything. And I would sit up all day, all night, drinking coffee with my hook and my yarn. And I was like, I need to change my name because I'm doing way more than dog toys. And so I'm sitting there crocheting, drinking coffee, and it hit me. A cup of crochet. Coffee and crochet go hand in hand. So
that's perfect. I love it. Did you know that Dunkin' Donuts, actually, they did a similar rebranding, probably spent a little bit more money on it, but they're dropping donuts from their name. Have you
really?
Yeah, so they're just going to be Dunkin' now because I guess Carrie was who's at Darn Yarn here. She was just telling me like 60% of their sales actually come from beverages. So they're like, bye bye, like it's the same thing. So I think that's great. You just be nimble. So tell me, like, how long have you been crocheting for? What sort of items are you really drawn to create?
I've been crocheting for about 15, 16 years now. I learned how to crochet when I was in elementary school. A friend's grandmother would sit us down every day after school and make us help her crochet blankets. From then, it was something that I did on and off throughout middle school and high school. I took several other art type classes. I did pottery and stuff, but crochet was always that one thing that I went back to. Towards the end of high school, I tried to make my dad a blanket, and that took me about 6 years to finish because I was using worsted weight yarn and a 5mm hook, and I started out with 250 chains, and so once you get going, you can't stop.
Oh my God.
He owns that blanket to this day, though. He still has it.
That's pretty great. I think we've all gone through as like creators, and you sometimes get into those projects and you're like, I'm going to do this. And then you get home and you're like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, that was definitely what went through my head for 6 years.
Oh my God. It's the ultimate meditation. So tell me a little bit about your business. Like, I know we have some people on here who are makers themselves, and I think people are always really interested to hear how other people are making income, making things off their hooks or needles. Tell me about like what kind of materials you love to use, and how do you price your items, and how do you choose events, and where are you selling right now?
As far as where I'm selling, I sell online, Facebook, Instagram, Etsy. I really like the online environment more. It gives me a way wider audience to show my work to.
Mm-hmm.
My area does have a lot of craft fairs. I'd probably benefit from taking part of them, but I'm horrible at gathering a ton of inventory, and that's why I like Etsy and Facebook. I can make 1 or 2 things and list those items. People can custom request things, and I can send it to them. So it's a lot easier for me with my personality type, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's so cool because you're not really taking on a ton of inventory. Like, I remember doing shows myself, and you have to put a lot of money out to like get your, I say it lovingly, but get your crap in a van and go drive it somewhere and unpack it and have people touch your stuff all the time, and then bring it back, right? And you raise that really good point. Do you find yourself doing like more custom orders than just ready to go stuff?
Actually, I'd say about 90% of my work is custom orders.
Cool. So how did you tap into that? Like, do you show just maybe a sampling of pictures, or how does that work for you?
I crochet orders. I've crocheted, my first order was a custom order. Somebody found me, saw my pictures of my dog toys that I was crocheting on Instagram, and she messaged me and asked if I could make a Batman minion character for her, and I told her I definitely could, no problem. I'm not limited to just dog toys. And I posted pictures of her order, and it just snowballed from there. I get messages from people saying, can you make me this? Can you make me that? And of course I can. I can make you anything you want.
That's pretty amazing. Do you have any like tips or things, because we were talking before we started here that you sell through Instagram too? So like you're working with Etsy, you sell on Instagram. What does that process look like?
Oh, well, I get my messages from the customers about what they'd like, and depending on how detailed they are, if they send me a picture or not, the conversation timing may vary. If they don't send me a picture and it's just an idea, I like to be extremely thorough. I will ask every question: what color, how big do you want it? Is there any extra features you want? I go into full detail to make sure they're getting exactly what they want. After I get all of that nailed down, I gather my supplies. I am a yarn hoarder, so rarely do I have to go to the store to get anything for orders that come in. As far as pricing goes, I tend not to price so much based off of my materials cost.
Okay.
Because I have gotten a lot on sales. I work for a department store. I can get a discount on the yarn that we sell there. I usually try to charge more for my time.
Okay.
And what I would think if somebody saw this in a store, what would they reasonably pay for this?
Yeah.
And
I love that. That's Henry. So if anyone's just tuning in, if you want to hold that up again, that's Henry the Hippo. Actually, you're a great co-host, Kay. So we should actually talk about our giveaway. If anyone's watching, we're going to do a giveaway. All you have to do is post a comment in our Facebook Live stream. So just go to our Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/DGY, and you'll see our live show going on right now, especially if you're watching us on Instagram. And just comment, if you were going to be a stuffed animal, what would you want to be? How's that? Is that a good? Yeah, I just pulled that out of nowhere. But I always love to see what people say. We do our color naming contest. The winner, we'll choose a winner, and that person will get this kit to make Henry the Hippo. So cute. I've actually really, I've been following you on Instagram for a really long time. And I just always love watching your progress. Like you've done something really cool on Instagram in terms of your strategy. I don't know if it's like you're seeing it as your strategy or not, but you have a really good buildup where I've been watching you construct Henry the Hippo now for a couple of weeks. So you'll show a couple of little stitches, and then it's these really cute overhead shots, always with a cup of coffee. And that's, I think that's such a cool tip for someone to extract from that. I don't know, were you doing that on purpose?
No, that is amazing that anybody has noticed that I have some sort of theme, because I really don't. I mean, the coffee is on purpose because I always have it, but no, that actually, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no, I love it because I'm usually Instagramming when I'm nursing mom Anna, so that's my time. So I get to study this stuff like a internet stalker or something like that.
Thank you.
Oh, so speaking of contests too, and then we'll get back to getting into this a little bit more. So last week's winner of Kelsey's beach bag was Wendy Gorlick. So Wendy, if you're watching maybe later on, congratulations. Also, we choose 2 winners for each of these contests that we do. So we choose one person during our live session, but for those of us who are super busy and they weren't able to log in, you still have an opportunity to win. We announce another winner after the live show, and that we close that out at the end of the week. So just be sure to put that comment in. So if you were going to be a stuffed animal, what would you be? Erica, what would you be? A platypus. That's I love that. Kay, what would you be?
Probably a panda.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, all right, sweet. So let's talk a little bit more, and this is my meat and potatoes session. Oh, Kay, if you want to join our Instagram live right now, if you want to take a hot minute here and join, I think you just have to go into our live session and then request to join, and Erica will ask you, because people are asking for you right now.
Gotcha.
Cool. Hey, Katie, do we have any questions so far?
We don't have any questions at the moment, but we have a lot of amazing answers. We have someone saying goats or snow leopards, unicorns.
Snow leopards, unicorns, a bird. I love it. Wait, what was the first one you said?
Goats.
A goat. Did you request in? A goat. Anna just got a stuffed goat. She's really good at extracting stuffed animals out of us.
We have a llama from Instagram.
Llama, red pajama.
Oh, please don't start doing that right now, Chew. Sorry, my dog's barking.
No, it's all good. This is the real life.
Okay, I think I'm coming in. We'll see.
Yeah?
It's working on our end too. It says a couple crochet declined.
Oh, it said it declined. You know what? I think it's freezing. I think it might be freezing things up. So we might have to skip that this time. Next time. It's all good. We'll get it next time. you could potentially hold a speaker over there though if someone wanted to hear. Or if you're watching us on Instagram Live, come on over to Facebook and you can watch us there and hear the whole thing happen. Technology is great, right? Okay, so let's move on here because again, I want to be really respectful of people's time and the 30-minute thing. You know, I'm not quite Tim Ferriss yet, so I can't have 3-hour podcasts. So I want to, you know, we're talking about this leading in and talking about the heart of what you do in terms of crochet and I think just fiber art and creating. And for me, I really got turned on to the power of creativity back when I was in the Air Force. I suffered from anxiety and depression. And one of the things that helped me get stable again was being able to create and learning how to knit and learning things like quilting and just working with what I call like almost like the human arts where you're using your fingers on something that's not necessarily plastic, right? And you've had a similar experience as well, like with depression and anxiety. How are you using crochet to sort of handle that, and when did you sort of make the connection that crochet helps you deal with such a serious issue?
Well, I've suffered with depression and anxiety and other mental health issues my entire life. I was always very out of control as far as like being able to control my emotions. After high school, when I finished my dad's blanket, after that 6 years, I continued to crochet, and it was actually just about 3 or 4 years ago that I started doing it every day, every single day. And it was probably 6 months into it. I'm sitting there crocheting, and my now fiance looked at me and he's like, you know, you have a real passion for this. And it sunk into me because I've never really been passionate about anything in my life. I was just always all over the place. And that's when I started to realize, wow, this is changing me. This has calmed me down. This has made me focus. This has made me actually able to sit down and without realizing it, process a lot of things that I've been through subconsciously. So that way, when I'm not crocheting, I don't have to worry about that stuff. And I have just used it every day as therapy since then to just make me a better person. And I truly do feel like crafting, crocheting, creating does make people better people.
I completely agree with you. I've had instances. I have one of my favorite stories. There's a gentleman that I used to work with him at Market Yarn, and he had severe dyslexia. And the only way he got through college, his grandmother taught him how to crochet. And the only way he got through college in his school was crocheting. And he was able to actually like retain information and like, you know, succeed in college. And you go like, you know, there's more to what's going on, I think, in the brain than we really realize when you're using your motor, like using motor skills. And maybe you're like a kind of a learner that needs like that motion and like just the repetitiveness can help like clear out cobwebs, you know? Exactly.
I mean, it's obviously not going to be for everybody. There are going to be people out there that struggle with depression and anxiety that crafting's just not going to kick that for them.
Right.
But I think for a good majority of people, it would definitely be helpful. And I think a lot of people that already do this stuff, that's the main reason they do it, is to help with their mental health.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like a self-care that you actually get to see the results of and the progress of as well, which I think is really rewarding. You know,
you give that progress to somebody else and bring them happiness as well. That's the great part of it.
That's a great statement to say about that, because I usually like would make something and I would almost be too embarrassed to give it to someone. Like, you know, I'll make toys for my kid all day, you know, there's not a lot of judgment there, but I never really thought of it that way. And it's a good point. So do you see yourself maybe teaching classes, and like, do you see yourself taking the lessons you've learned and that important link to maybe helping people with maybe mild grade depressions and anxieties, and like reaching out into like the art therapy world to like potentially teach this? Has that ever crossed your plate?
Actually been something that's been on my mind over the past year is turning this into something where I can help people, whether it be teaching classes at like a Joanne Fabrics or a Michael's. They hold, you know, small classes once a week, or doing something bigger as like going to school for art therapy. And
yeah, I wonder if even going to like a senior center too, to even just like do something like that, like, you know, maybe a little, you know, just an idea.
Time just to sit with them and do it. I'm sure they would love to see, you know, anybody show up and have similar interests and sit with them with their hooks and needles and talk about life.
Yeah, I've heard really interesting studies, and we actually have an art therapist on staff here who works here now, and she's worked with dementia patients who've had really great results working and doing fiber art, and doing that as part of like a session, which you know, it just blows your mind. Like, I know we put and pharmaceuticals have their place, but then I don't want to say crochet is simple or knitting is simple, but there are these simple things, right, that bring us back to what it means to be human that we have right at our fingertips. And like, why not try that first before going down this long path and trying to make sure that we really take ownership of that self-care?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I want to go into like a couple of other, we have a question from someone asking about, they're interested in your process of creating, and when you make your animals, like either doing the actual design work or making them more like in mass, are they difficult to make?
I don't think they are difficult to make. I caught on to this as amigurumi very, very quickly. Amigurumi is crocheting small animals. But I know a lot of people struggle with it because there are sewing and detailed work, a lot of decreases and increases. As far as designing goes, rarely do I sit down and say, I'm going to make this and make it. I usually sit down, start crocheting a circle, and before I know it, I have a body. And then I crochet a head and I stick it together, and then I look at it and I'm like, oh, well, this looks like a cute little hippo. And then from there, I make the legs and the ears and I stick the eyes in and, you know, details. That's generally how my design process goes.
I think that's a great way to do it, because then you are really embracing the design and like what the yarn calls for. I always try to like help people, like especially with Darn Good yarn, like it's kind of like a funkier yarn. Actually, you see my pumpkin back here. This is our Darn Good yarn pumpkin that Eric and Katie made today. It's beautiful, all recycled silk. But it's, you know, our yarn is weird, and so people like, they get very not in a bad way, but like they get very attached to the pattern. And sometimes you just gotta let it flow and let it kind of speak to you, right?
Exactly.
You're saying exactly that. You know, we're in the same camp together that way.
I think it goes back to, I did, you know, a few years of pottery in high school, and when you're working with clay, that's how it is. You can't force it. It's what comes out of the clay. So I kind of look at making stuffed animals the same way. It's what comes out of it.
I love it. That can be said for so many things too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is awesome. I have a couple of like rapid fire questions to ask you. You ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. What's your favorite yarn to work with?
My favorite yarn to work with is your guys' yarn, obviously.
Oh, heart. No one was paid for that endorsement, everyone. Just so
Nope. I love your guys' yarn.
Thank you. What's your favorite account to follow on Instagram and why?
My favorite account to follow on Instagram is A Crafty Concept. And I've been following her since before I started my online business. She's the one that actually helped me open my Etsy shop. She gave me great advice. Her name is Ashley. She's A Crafty Concept on Instagram, and her positivity is the most contagious thing in the crochet community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We might have to reach out to her.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
Definitely do it. Reach out to her because she's one of the best.
That's super. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Green. Why?
Honestly, I can't really tell you. It's just ever since middle school, it's been my favorite color. When I was a kid, my favorite color was purple because my dad's favorite Skittle was the purple Skittle. But then everything, I just always loved stuff that are green. I love nature. Nature is green. We work for money and money is green.
I love it. That's my girl right there. All right. And then we love to end every session. And do we have any other questions before I ask my last? Okay.
No
perfect.
question, but lots of great suggestions.
Okay. Can I announce a winner? Do you guys have a winner for me? Or are we going to announce it on the Facebook channel?
No, we'll pick it. You answer your last question.
Okay. I'm going to ask the last question. You ready?
Yep.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Best advice I've ever been given is the less you care about what other people think, the happier you are going to be.
Oh, perfect. What do you think about that, Erica?
That's pretty sound advice.
It is pretty sound advice.
All right, we did a random scroll, put our finger on this person, and she's winner.
Okay, and then we have our winner. You ready? Sandra Riker Love, you are our winner this week. Yay! So you're gonna get a, so just DM us and we will get your info and we will send you out Henry the Hippo pattern kit. I don't know, 30 minutes. I should be able to like keep my words together a little better. Kay, this has been really awesome. Is there anything else you want to add or say to everyone?
I just want to thank you and all of you lovely ladies at Darn Good Yarn. I mean, seriously, you are all amazing. I love your products, and I really hope that, I can keep designing patterns for you guys and maybe even do this again. I'd love to sit down and chat with you more.
Oh yeah, we're planning out like that. I'm just so pleased that we're doing something like, okay, this is our third session. I think it's going to continue to get better. And then even like a reach out to our community right now, Darn Good Yarners watching. If you have input, lay it on me, because it's really, I just want to build up the community and show other people how designers are working, how other makers are working, how they're, doing a side hustle. Like, we're making this economy run and we're doing it in our own way while juggling like our households and all these other things. And it's not easy. And we all come to it in different ways. And if we can just share those experiences, there's a lot of commonality between it. So that's really the whole idea of doing, a little show like this. So, and if anyone wants to listen to this, we've turned these into podcasts as well. So if you don't have the ability to just watch this, you can just go listen to this via one of your favorite podcast channels. So we'll put info notes there. All right. Well, this is great. Thank you so much, Kay. I really appreciate it.
This was so fun.
I know. I told you it would go fast. All right. I'm going to end this here. I'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye.